Mitsu has asked, which main bearing and big end bearing is better, ACL or King bearings? Look, there's not necessarily one is better than the other. There aren't a lot of fly-by-night bearing companies out there. I've used both ACL and I've used King bearings, and I've got good results with both of them. A lot of it's going to come down to personal choice, access to the bearings, and of course cost is always a driving factor. I've also used in some of our Mitsubishi race engines, our 4G63 race engines, I've also used factory bearings, and in some instances the factory bearings do a perfectly good job. What we do need to understand is that with a lot of the aftermarket bearings, the likes of ACL's race series bearings, King's bearings as well, these use a different construction to factory bearings. They use what's known as a bimetal construction, and this is why we see with some of these race series bearings that they have what looks like a blackened surface. This isn't actually a treatment, this is just due to the construction of the bearing itself. A factory or OE bearing shell, on the other hand, uses a trimetal construction. And what this does is it has an outer layer, the outside layer of the bearing, which is closest to the journal of the crankshaft, has a layer that provides some embeddability so that debris that goes through the oil, inevitably goes through the oil, can be trapped in that top layer, the embeddable layer of the bearing shell. The bimetal construction that these aftermarket race series bearings have removes that embeddability, removes that top layer, and the advantage is that this produces a stronger bearing shell, better suited to very, very high output. But the downside is that because there is no embeddability on these bimetal bearings, we do tend to see a little bit more wear showing on the crankshaft journal due to the debris that's inevitably going to flow through the oil system, no matter how clean everything is. So what this means is the bimetal race series bearings are more suitable for an engine that's going to see regular teardowns, regular rebuilds. If you are building an engine that's expected to produce maybe 50 to 100,000 kilometers of use between teardowns, often using a bearing shell that's trimetal construction is going to be superior.
That question was taken from one of our free live lessons. If you like free stuff and you're the type of guy who wants to expand your knowledge, click the link in the description to claim your free spot to our next live lesson. You'll learn about performance engine building and EFI tuning, and you'll also have the chance to ask your own questions, which I'll be answering live. Remember, it's 100% free, so follow the link to claim your spot.